Hey everyone, it's me. I want to talk about the relationships we maintain only because the people we are maintaining relationships with are in contact with our estranged children. And the one thing we have to remember is, the family I was raised, because there was times I was estranged from my mom for significant periods of time. My mom's mom, who I would go visit, would say, you should talk to your mom, you should have a relationship with her, it's this and that. And that's just the way it was. And so now that I'm an estranged parent, I was always hoping someone in my family would talk to my children and encourage them to reach out or whatever the case. And so, the estrangement occurred many, many years ago. Not many, many, but many years ago, 10, so, or so, 12, 13 years ago. And so I knew I had certain family members that were still in contact with my daughters. And so they would fill me in on what was going on, or the fact that my daughter got married or moved or, had children. And I would always say, do you talk to them about it? And they would say, no, they don't want to hear about it. I respect their decision, etc. And so part of me, then I would let it go. But inside, part of me would think, can you please, I'm begging you. So over a matter of years, number of years, I still waited for these particular family members to try to help with reconciliation or reconnection, etc., and it never happened. And I recently realized that I was I had certain relationships with certain family members only because I was hoping for that to happen, for them to help me in some way. And now that I have ceased certain relationships with the people that are, in contact with my estranged children, it can be scary because you're like, well, you think to yourself, if I cut contact with one of the only family members who has contact with my estranged children, I won't see pictures, I won't get updates, I won't hear what's going on. And so it's a sick cycle where it's just an unhealthy cycle. And then I realized after I cut contact, or I ceased a relationship with, one of my siblings. I have not just the one older sister, but also one of my younger sisters. I realized that the relationship between her and I had been strained for a long time for various reasons since we were children. Um, there were some things done that were very, very, very damaging, that were at the time unforgivable. We had a couple of my siblings and I had taken care of my dad because he was unable to care for himself financially, etc. So a couple of us had taken over and taken care of his accounts and money and things like that. And when my dad and I were close and I was taking care of him, he helped me out in different ways, financial wise. He had helped me get a car. I made all the payments, and it was under $3,000. It wasn't an expensive car, but I had gotten divorced and I needed his help, and so he agreed, and he was happy to do so, which he always did. He was a giver. He was happy to do so. So after I transferred everything over to my sister, she ran his credit, realized I had a vehicle, or that he had co-signed or signed for a vehicle for me, and then she threatened to, if I didn't pay it off, she stated that she would take the vehicle from me. So I went and I paid it off right away, and then she called the police department and claimed I committed fraud and used my dad's social security number without his knowledge. It was the craziest thing. So here I am at work. I was working at a bank. This was years ago. This was 2005, 6 or something like that. And then I get a call at work from a detective who states that I have to come in to the police department to make a statement and bring all my documentation to prove that I didn't commit fraud. It was just a mess. So anyways, years passed, and then my sister and I reconnected, and that was kind of brushed under the rug, and we reconnected, and she was in contact with my daughters, and over the years, 10 years now, I would ask, have you talked with them? And she's like, yeah, I talked with them. And she came home for a visit, and I said, did you talk with them? Yeah. And I said, did you see them? And she said, no. But then she started crying. She goes, well, yeah, I was invited over to your youngest daughter's house, and I met your grandkids, and I'm so sorry. And I'm like, okay. So, it's that fine line. You can't tell someone who they can have relationships with, but what why do we have a relationship? People that you have relationships with that love you and support you encourage reconciliation, and want the best for you, and don't allow people to mistreat you. And so it just so happened that there was a falling out recently, and there was a disconnect. I don't have anxiety about not finding out about my estranged children. It is what it is. But I realized I continued the relationship with my sister because she was, quote unquote, my only hope. Like Princess Leia said to Luke, you're my only hope. And that's the way I felt. And so it's not that I don't love my sisters. It's that there's just, it is not beneficial, I don't think, for either of us to have a relationship simply because we're siblings and because we have a childhood together. Like I said, there was one time I was very close with my younger sister, and now, we live different lives, and that's fine. It's not really that big of a deal, but it's hard to continue a relationship with someone simply because you're hoping that they can fix the situation. And when years go by and nothing happens, and not only have you been lied to, but there has been no, they haven't encouraged anything or have done anything to try to attempt even to say anything, and they say, well, one day when I have an opportunity, I'll say something. Well, it's been over 10 years. You met my it's one of those things. So I'm just saying, if you feel that you have to maintain a relationship because you feel they are going to save the situation, repair, reconcile, etc., it's normally doesn't happen. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen right away. And for them to say, like my grandma used to say, you should talk with your mom, etc., if that hasn't been done, and they're more or less on the side of your estranged child, it's almost like they're the two of them against you. It's not a good feeling. So I just plan on having relationships with people who support me, love me, and encourage me, and want the best for me, and don't allow other people to mistreat me in any way, shape, or form. So I hope this video helps someone. I hope it touches some heartstrings, and I hope, above all else, that everyone has love, support, and peace this holiday season. I hope to God this strikes a chord with someone, and that's all I've got to say about it. So hopefully this helps, and we'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.